So if you watch a lot of like YouTube and stuff like that, you'll probably see that people tend to use both metric and imperial at the same time. Like for example, you have a guy on YouTube, right, and he's explaining like the distance between things or something like that. He'll probably use both. Like he'll say, for example, X miles, which equates to this many kilometers. They would use that because it's just more understandable for people. Some people understand imperial, some people understand metric. But yeah, for me, the whole point of this video is to argue that the metric system is just objectively better. Like, it's not even close. Because here's the thing. Well, actually, I'm going to get to the thing. But first of all, let's talk a bit about the imperial system. So the imperial system was actually made in 1820, like the current modern day imperial system, was made in 1824 by the British Parliament. Basically, they decided that they wanted a universal system of measurement that they could use in the United Kingdom. And so they decided to create, hang on, let me check what it's called again. Right, the Weights and Measures Act of 1824, the full name being, what? An act for ascertaining and establishing uniformity of weights and measures. Right, that's a mouthful, but yeah, that's what it's called. So basically, the idea being that they just wanted to create a new measurement system, quite simply, and so they had a measurement system before, but they just decided to do a hard reset of sorts. They decided, okay, screw that, we're just going to have a completely new thing. And why am I stuck in this forest? Why does this spawn? And so they based this new system on like very specific measurements of things. Like I'm actually gonna need sheep for later, so this is very good. So like for example, 1 pound was supposed to be based on, oh no, zombies. So basically 1 pound was supposed to be based on like this weight of a specific amount of water in very specific conditions, like specific like air temperatures. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was things like that. Basically, this much water in this kind of situation, we will consider that this is 1 pound, and we're going to base things on that. And the act is just the whole act is just things like that. So the act has been modified after that, and it hasn't, obviously things have changed since 1824. But the idea is the same. It was the Act of 1824 that really founded the current imperial system that people use today. My problem with the imperial system, though, is that it's just not good, okay? I'm actually, as I said, I'm here to argue that the imperial system sucks and that we shouldn't be using it, especially when we already have something that is vastly superior to it, aka the metric system. My inventory is not opening. Okay. So I actually have 3 reasons for saying that. Okay, well, I guess we could say like 3.5. Like I have, okay, one of them is not really true. Like basically, like I have reasons 1, 2, 3, and we could say that reason 0.5 is Minecraft blocks are like 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. So like I'm playing Minecraft right now. So yay, I don't know. But obviously that's just a joke. The real reasons are as follows. First of all, it's just a better system overall, and I think we can all agree, okay? I'm going to state the obvious first. Why would you not use a base 10 system when you have the option to use a base 10 system? I mean, the metric system is just simple, 100 centimeters is 1 meter, 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. It's incredibly simple, and it's incredibly intuitive. Who wouldn't want to use something like that, right? I mean, if you have the option to use something like that, you should. Every single time. You shouldn't have to resort to a system where 12 inches make 1 foot and 3 feet make a yard and like 1,760 yards make 1 mile. Like that's just ridiculous. Like why would you do this? Why would you do this? Seriously, why? Why, Cal? Why are you doing this? If I was an alien, okay, and I was invading Earth, which system would I want to adopt? Like, just taking first look at both of them, right? Obviously, I would adopt the metric system. It's just far more natural to learn, far more intuitive, far more logical. Again, I understand the British Parliament had very specific standards that they used to arrive at what they arrived at, but it's just not intuitive, and it's not very sensible from a human perspective. Stop running. And so, yeah, when you have the option to use the metric system in presence of the metric system, you should use the metric system, right? The imperial system just is not it when you have a base 10 system. So reason number 2 is the fact that, I mean, look, if you're going to create a system that doesn't make sense like in a particularly intuitive way, In principle, yes, that sucks, but like it's fine, okay? If you have a specific reason for it. Think, for example, things like the nautical mile, right? The nautical mile is it's not the most intuitive thing in the world. Again, it doesn't follow like a specific base 10 system or anything like that. But it's basically measured based on like latitude and longitude, sorry. And so it makes sense for the people who use it, for people who are sailing on like the oceans and on seas and oceans and stuff. For them, latitude and longitude are measurements that matter, and so a system that is based on them makes sense and is intuitive. So things like that do make sense because they make sense for the people who they are supposed to make sense for. Same thing for like Kelvin. We don't use Kelvin in our daily lives to measure temperature, right? We use Celsius, we use Fahrenheit, which makes sense for us because they're intuitive to us. But Kelvin is not intuitive for us. And the reason being that it's just not based on something we can understand. Celsius, for example, is based on water, the freezing and evaporation temperature of water. 0 being freezing temperature, 100 being evaporation temperature. Basic, simple, intuitive, understandable. Probably make a cave, by the way, to spend the night. But the Imperial system doesn't have that. The Imperial system is supposed to be used in people's daily lives, right? It's supposed to be used by people who just are going about their daily lives trying to like measure the weight of like how much for example, how many pounds of apples you're going to buy from the store, right? That's how it's supposed to be used. It's not supposed to be used by scientists or by people in such specific conditions. It's for everyday use. And so when you have something for everyday use and it's not even efficient, again, going back to the whole base 10 thing, right? It's not efficient, it's just completely unsatisfying, and there's just a superior option, aka the metric system, which, by the way, probably did already exist. I'm pretty sure actually it did exist when the British, when the Act of 1824 came around. But of course, as we all know, the British don't like to do things the way anyone else does them and just want to do their own thing, and so I guess that's what they did. But yeah, since the Imperial system doesn't really serve any specific purpose, just why have it? Why just not use the metric system when you can? That's really my whole problem with it, is if it did serve a specific reason, right? If it did have a specific scientific purpose, or like if it was useful in specific contexts in ways that the metric system couldn't be useful, then okay, I would have been willing to accept it. But it just isn't. And so why? Why would you resort to this when you don't have to? You literally have better options. And then there's my third and final reason. And it's the most simple, most logical, and honestly just most natural reason to not like something like the Imperial system. And it's actually quite simply the fact, look, how many people even use the Imperial system? How many nations out there use mainly the Imperial system? I'll tell you, 3, and nothing else. Just 3. 3 nations, right? The United States, with, by the way, some modifications, not even the same one that everyone else uses, right? So, the United States, Myanmar, and Liberia. No one else. No one else actually uses the Imperial system as their main system of measurement. Like, yes, some people use it as a secondary measurement, especially like the United Kingdom and Commonwealth countries. The United Kingdom actually like still kind of uses it, and metric system. Like, it uses both. Like, in specific situations, it will use this and others and that, but like it uses both. And certain Commonwealth countries, same thing. They use both. Like but again, they mostly use the metric system, but they will sometimes use the Imperial system for like specific things. But pretty much the entire world just uses metric and Imperial in a very, very limited sense. And I can guarantee you that the United States, if they stopped using the Imperial system, everyone in the world who still uses the Imperial system would probably stop. Because it's probably just a matter of geopolitics. I mean, the United States are the most powerful nation in the world, and they just have a lot of the world's multinational companies that produce things, and so it just makes sense that everyone would kind of sort of sometimes use the system that they use. At the end of the day, the whole point of a measurement system is that you want something that people can understand, right? If people understand what you're talking about, then your measurement system is a success. Congratulations. The whole point is for you, for example, to be able to tell me 1 yard or 1 meter or whatever, and I understand what that means, right? I should be able to understand what 1 yard or 1 meter is without you necessarily having to show me. Or even if you do show me, I understand approximately what that means, right? In my head, I can conceptualize what 1 meter or 1 yard is. So if you use a measurement system, and only 3 countries in the world use it, and like practically practically everyone else uses metric mainly, then what are you even doing? Why? What's the point? There's literally no reason. Absolutely none. Just switch to metric. Everyone already uses it. Everyone will thank you because no one in YouTube will have to say metric in miles and or kilometer or this much in kilometers. It's just going to be simpler for everyone. Everyone will be happy, and that's just it. The end. That's really all that needs to be said. I actually don't even remember how to get a parrot. Like I just haven't played Minecraft in so long. I just straight up don't remember like what to do. Like I'm sort of wandering aimlessly. I don't even know what to do. But yeah, that's basically for this video. Metric system makes a lot more sense to use. And again, I know the third point is already based on the fact that people already use the metric system a lot. And so based on that, I'm basically saying that because people use the metric system, we should only use the metric system, which is kind of like saying that you can't really make a new system anymore. And I mean, yeah, but like, why is that a bad thing? I mean, should we use a new system? We don't have to. Anyway, I hope this made sense. I hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, remember to use meters next time you tell someone how far away you are from like where they live.